Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today the Cleveland Browns have signed Shedeur Sanders to his rookie contract, and they signed him to his rookie contract before they signed Dillon Gabriel to his rookie contract. They've yet to sign Dillon Gabriel to his rookie contract yet. I think it'll be interesting when they do that. And the thing is the funny thing will be is when they do that and when they sign Dillon Gabriel that contract extension, they will have 5 quarterbacks on the active roster, 5 quarterbacks under contract. And look, I don't know if how you include Deshaun Watson in there, because I don't think Deshaun Watson counts when it comes to the fact of, is this guy going to be playing or not? Because I think you look at the other quarterbacks in the quarterback room like Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders, and say, okay, these guys have a shot of playing. Deshaun Watson without Achilles doesn't really have a shot of playing, but at the same time, it also doesn't matter in this way of Deshaun Watson. He still has a contract. He's still under contract, and unless the Browns get rid of that contract, which is going to be really hard to get rid of that contract, he's still going to be under contract. And if Shedeur Sanders makes this roster, which will be interesting if he does, it is, you'll have 5 quarterbacks under contract. And I don't think Deshaun's going anywhere, because I don't think they're going to release him, which it's really hard to release a contract like that. And, even if they did, it's, at the same time, you never see 4 quarterbacks make an active roster. You never see 4 quarterbacks make a 53-man roster. It has become more of, common. It's become more common that since the San Francisco 49ers Eagles, conference championship, when the 49ers lost Brock Purdy, and then Josh Johnson came in the game and he got hurt. And then they had this problem where they don't have a third quarterback, and Brock Purdy has to come in with a messed up shoulder, and Christian McCaffrey has to play a wildcat. And the NFL is like, okay, we should make a third quarterback rule where you can have an emergency quarterback. Since then, now most teams carry 3 quarterbacks on their roster, but it's very, very. You don't see 4 quarterbacks on the roster. You might see 3 quarterbacks on the active roster, and then 1 quarterback on the practice squad. But that's where I think this whole thing with this Browns quarterback room gets interesting, because reports say Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco, have really impressed the Browns. So have Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. I think a lot of these guys are really impressing the Browns, and I think at this point, and I didn't think this was Shedeur Sanders before, but it seems like any of these guys have a chance at the quarterback spot. Even Shedeur Sanders, as a guy who was, the 155th overall pick. And with all 4 guys having a roster spot, or having a chance of getting that starting spot, do all 4 of these guys make the roster? Do the Browns? That's what I've wondered ever since they've drafted Shedeur Sanders. Do the Browns carry 4 quarterbacks on the roster? And I don't know even the last time that happened. Sure, you've seen the teams go with 3 on the active and 1 on the practice squad, but it just seems a little crazy to have one on the one of those guys on the on the practice. Sorry, one of the. It seems crazy to have 4 of those 4 quarterbacks on the roster. I don't know. Do you maybe cut Kenny Pickett? But if he is impressing this Browns team, and they traded for him, they gave up some solid assets for him, that might be something I don't see them doing. I don't think you cut Joe Flacco either, because if you want Joe Flacco around. I think he's probably, to me, the most talented in this roster compared to Pickett, Sanders, and Gabriel. And not only that, having 2 young rookie quarterbacks, Sanders a 5th-round pick, 3rd-round pick in Gabriel. Young rookie quarterbacks that you want to see have growth in their career need a good veteran around him. To me, Kenny Pickett is not as experienced. He's been in this league for only 3 seasons to be a veteran leader around Sanders and Gabriel. Joe Flacco is the guy you want around Sanders and Gabriel. You're not going to cut. You know for a fact Dylan Gabriel isn't getting cut because you're not cutting a third round pick, and it's something the Browns would do. But you don't cut a third round pick. You don't cut Joe Flacco because he's the veteran guy that needs to be around Gabriel and Sanders possibly if he makes the roster. You don't cut Sanders for a number of reasons. I think he has potential. Also, I hate that he's being used this way, but the publicity as well of it. The Browns get a lot of attention with him on the team because who his dad is and the social media of everything. So, yeah, you hate that it's being used that way, but to me, it's kind of like a Bronny James with the Lakers. And look, I'm not saying that Shedeur Sanders is not talented because I think Shedeur Sanders is really talented. I really do. But I think he's going to be used in the way that Bronny James has been with the Lakers, where, TV people, there you see, and here's what I'm talking about. You see a bunch of I want to say websites, but you see a lot of people over posting Bronny James because it gives them a lot. Like you'll see on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, you'll see people like ESPN, Bleacher Report, all these other places post Bronny James for like they'll post even if he does something that's small, like he misses a shot, which you shouldn't see clips of someone who missed a shot on sport, sorry, not on Sports Center, but on ESPN or Bleacher Report, on TikTok, on those things, House of Highlights is another one, and they use Bronny James as a way for clout, and that's what a lot of of social media, sports media has done, and that sucks for Bronny James. That absolutely sucks. I hate that for Bronny, and I feel like that's something that these same people, ESPN, Bleacher Report, House of Highlights, those type of people are going to do with Shedeur Sanders, and that sucks. That sucks for him. He's too talented to go through that, and but I think he's really good, and that's why the Browns are giving him this 4-year, $5 million extension. $5 million rookie deal. You don't have to look. It's sometimes you don't see a rookie get that contract. Like sometimes you will see late draft picks don't always get signed to deals, and so I think that's an interesting thing to think about it. They feel confident in him to give him this deal, this 4-year deal. To me, that means like the Browns possibly feel like he's a part of their future. But that also tells me that they think that's the same thing with Dylan Gabriel. So what is the whole thing with Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco? I think it's really interesting that there's 4 quarterbacks in this roster. I think the 2 with the most potential are Gabriel and Sanders. But there's the veteran guy and Joe Flacco that needs to be around as well. And then there's the guy in Kenny Pickett who I don't really believe in, but the Browns must. So, but let me know your thoughts on this extension, it's not an extension, but this rookie deal for Shedeur Sanders in the comment section, and peace out.